Let me ask you something. When you picture a powerful leader, what do you see? Is it a CEO giving orders? A general controlling the troops? Now imagine that same leader kneeling on the floor washing feet. Yeah, you heard that right. Feet. It's not exactly what we'd expect from someone with authority, right? But that's exactly what Jesus did. Why would the Son of God, the creator of the universe, choose to wash the feet of his disciples? And what does that mean for us today? Today, we're diving into John 13, 4 through 20, where Jesus redefines leadership. If you're ready to uncover the surprising truth about servant leadership, stay with me for the next few minutes and let's explore this together. All right, let's set the scene. This is the night before Jesus' crucifixion. Jesus and his disciples are gathered for what we know as the Last Supper. And then Jesus does something that stops everyone in their tracks. Let's read it together. I'm in John 13, verses 4 through 8, New Living Translation. So he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You don't understand now what I am doing, but someday you will." "No," Peter protested, "you will never wash my feet." Jesus replied, "Unless I wash you, you won't belong to me." Let's pause here. Peter's response is so human, right? I mean, wouldn't we feel the same way? Here's the teacher, the Messiah, the Son of God, kneeling down with a towel to wash the dust and dirt off of our feet. And we think, no way, you're too important for that. Jesus is teaching us something critical here. Servant leadership flips the world's idea of greatness on its head. He's saying, if you belong to me, this is how you lead, by serving others. So let's make this personal. What does servant leadership look like in your life? Are you willing to humble yourself to serve, even when it's uncomfortable? Let's go further. In verse 12 through 15, Jesus explains why he did this. Listen closely. After washing their feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked, "Do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you." Jesus is giving us a new blueprint for leadership, one that requires humility, sacrifice, and service. This isn't about power, position, or even popularity. It's about laying down our pride and genuinely serving others. Who are you called to serve today? Maybe it's somebody you don't get along with. Maybe it's someone you may have overlooked. How can you show God's love by serving? This passage doesn't just speak to the disciples, it speaks to us. Jesus is calling each of us to this kind of service. He's asking us to let go of our pride and serve others, even in the small, seemingly insignificant stuff. Let's be real though. This isn't easy, but Jesus is clear. In verse 17, he says, now that you know these things, God will bless you doing them. Serving others isn't just an obligation, it's a blessing. So here's my question. Are you ready to take up the challenge of servant leadership in your own life? How will you live out Jesus' example this week? All right, as we wrap up, if this message has impacted you, please show your support by smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing this video. It really helps us reach more people and spread the message of Jesus' love and truth. And if you feel led, consider partnering with us on Patreon. Your support allows us to continue making these videos, sharing the gospel, and reaching people all around the world. Together, we can be a part of fulfilling the Great Commission. And don't forget, drop a comment below and let me know. What does servant leadership mean to you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for joining me today. Till next time.